Hey, David Essel here, and I have the most exciting story I'm going to share with you today. This is a kid's story, so if you're a kid, sit down, because not only am I going to read this to you, but you're going to be able to read it with me and see the pictures as we do this little video for you. If you're a teacher or a parent, really slow down. Take the words of this story to heart. Share it with students all over the world. Bring it into schools, into churches. It's the most powerful story about accepting those who do not look or act like we do. You know, in this world today, there's so much judgment, so much bullying, kids picking on kids in ways that we've never seen before in the history of time. This story, the real-life adventures of Catherine Cat Calloway I, was created to help kids learn that you can accept others who look different than you do, who act different, who talk differently. My purpose in writing this book is to create more harmony, understanding, compassion, and love with you, the students of this world, who are going to be adults, and you'll be running the world soon. So let's get started. The real-life adventures of Catherine Cat Calloway I. It's exciting, it's fun, and at the end, I'm going to tell you a story of how this book came together. But first, let me read from Mark Victor Hansen, co-author of Chicken Soup for the Soul, and what he said, amongst the many other celebrities who have endorsed this book, about Catherine Cat Calloway I. Mark Victor Hansen says, "This book is written in the spirit of Hans Christian Andersen's stories and destined to become a classic, which it already has. Let's get started with our heroine, Cat Calloway, right here, the first. So come on and join me on this incredible ride." The Real-Life Adventures of Catherine Cat Calloway I, Book 1, The New Kid in School. Let me read the acknowledgments. If you'd like to read with me, please feel free. I have been so blessed to be given this story to share with you, one that through the process of writing has slowed me down and reminded me how much love we receive when we look for ways to help someone else. I am so grateful and thankful for every person that I have ever met or talked to, for a part of you is in this story too. Susie Campbell is an incredible artist who captured the story's heart with her beautiful illustrations. Special thanks to my sister, Mary Diane Skimaker, and her 100-plus fourth graders who responded so enthusiastically to the story. You guys are the best. To my dad, Ed, who typed the initial manuscript, believe it or not, my mom, Pat, my brother, Terry, whose advice and support kept me focused and made this a joyous process. And to my wonderful assistants, Pat and Gary Niebel and Cheryl Duncan, who added so much insight and support throughout the entire project. Thank you all so much. Now, let's get started. There's Cat Calloway, who's telling us right from the start, go after your dreams. And there's Cat again with her friend that we're going to meet in a few minutes, telling us to treat others with kindness and respect. Now there's Cat Calloway as a little baby. Isn't she adorable? The Real-Life Adventures of Catherine Cat Calloway I, Introduction. Catherine Calloway was born in the center aisle of an airplane about 1 mile high in the bright blue sky. This was the beginning of the life of a little girl who refused to do things the normal, expected way. Right before this unforgettable incident on the plane, Catherine's mother said, "Goodness gracious, and my oh my, I never thought my baby would be born in the sky." After the birth, the doctor, who fortunately happened to be on the flight, said that was a first. It was definitely a first for Catherine's mother, too. She looked down at her new daughter and said, "You started different instead of the same. We'll just have to put the first after your name." That is how this remarkable girl became Catherine Calloway I. As we turn the page, join me. You see Catherine Calloway right there? There's our girl Cat. Her friends simply called her Cat. Cat lived a life filled with amazing opportunities, and she took each one to heart. Cat believed in herself. She believed everyone was put here to make a difference in the world using whatever special talents they had been given. Cat knew she was extraordinary, and she helped others believe they were special too. And that was one of Cat's greatest gifts. If you asked her today, she would probably blush and say, "Well, everybody, that boy there or that girl over there, has some special gift. I guess the difference might be that when I was a little girl, I was told I was special, and I believed it. Some people just take longer to start believing in themselves. Don't think for a moment that just because Kat knew she was special and that she was here to make a difference, that her life didn't have lots of ups and downs. Kat just happened to see the beauty in both the highs and the lows. On a rainy day or sunny day, hot weather or chilly cold, Kat could find always something to love and appreciate. She's telling us there to go after our dreams. Now, Kat is telling us to treat others with kindness and respect. The new kid in school. When Kat Calloway was in grade school, the kids would get with a group of friends at lunchtime and kind of stay to themselves. Have you ever seen this happen? Well, on a windy but sunny day, Kat came into the lunchroom late and stood looking for a place to sit. Several of her friends shouted, "Hey, Kat, this chair is free. Come over here and sit by me." A smile that stretched from ear to ear appeared on her face as she tried to decide which way to go. Kat was looking at all the friendly kids when she spotted a little girl sitting all alone. The girl was new, and she looked a bit blue. Now, this was a tough decision. Part of Kat wanted to go where everyone knew her and had called her name. She smiled and waved at each group of friends, but she felt drawn to the lonely girl sitting by herself at a table. As quickly as you can say diddly this and diddly that, there goes a dog chasing a cat, she made up her mind. Kat walked over to the little girl who had no friends to sit with. The girl seemed too shy to talk. "Hi, my name is Catherine Calloway the First, but my friends call me Kat. What's your name?" No answer. "Well, may I join you?" Kat asked cheerfully. Again, no answer. The kids across the room were sitting with their mouths open. They were all wondering why Kat had chosen to pass them by. Why would she go and sit with a stranger when she could be having fun with people she knew? That's Kat's way of living. Always was, always would be. Kat kept right at it. "Well, that's okay. You don't know me, so you don't have to talk, but no one should be alone at lunch. I'll just sit down right here and do the talking for both of us, okay?" The little lonely girl said nothing, but she peeked up at Kat from underneath her bangs. Somewhere in the girl's big, dark eyes, Kat saw an answer. The girl didn't use words, but her glance said a lot. "So, let me tell you what I have for lunch," Kat continued. "First, there is this tiny, shiny red apple. A chopped egg white sandwich that looks really weird, but my mom makes it taste good. Don't ask me how, because it's a mystery to me. 7 great green pepper rings and some carrots that my dad says are a must if you want good eyes that can see the blackboard." As Kat spoke, the lonely girl was thinking all kinds of thoughts. Why is she such a friendly person? Why did she come here to be with me when all of the other kids were calling her name? How come she seems so happy talking when I don't say anything to her? The little girl was puzzled, but she was secretly enjoying the company. Her shyness didn't seem to bother this friendly girl at all. Kat proceeded to eat and talk and talk and eat. And then she talked some more and ate some more until there was no food left and the lunch hour was over. "Well, our time is up. I want you to know I like sharing your table, but I've got to go." Kat smiled at the girl as she brushed off some tasty egg white sandwich crumbs that had fallen in her lap. Kat loved making words rhyme, and as she stood up, she said, "Lunch was so fun, let's do it again. I'll find you tomorrow when I come in." She laughed so loud, it echoed around the room, and then she bounced off to her class. In the hallway, several of her friends were amazed. "How come you didn't sit with us?" they asked. "Well," Kat replied, "no one should have to eat their lunch alone." "Anyway," Kat continued, "just because someone appears to be shy, it doesn't mean that there isn't more to them than first meets the eye." Kat beamed at her friends. They just rolled their eyes and they all walked down the hall together. Ling Ling Lu was new to this town and this school. She had always had a hard time making and keeping friends. Her dad's business kept them moving from city to city. She went to the lunchroom the next day, secretly hoping that the friendly girl who talked a lot about everything would return and take her loneliness away. And there's our beautiful Cat Calloway. And there's Cat and Ling Ling Lu sitting together. Ling Ling Lu was sad. 15 minutes of the lunch period had passed and the talkative girl was nowhere to be seen. She was sure she was going to be alone again. Her parents had told her to just go and say hi to other kids. She tried, but meeting people and making friends wasn't easy for her to do. Ling Ling Lu took out some paper and a pen. She scribbled and scribbled and scribbled some more, and then she looked up at the lunchroom door. Her heart jumped with happiness. The talkative girl with the really long name was heading her way. "I'm sorry I'm late," said Cat. "I was hoping you'd wait." She set her lunch sack on the table and opened it with another rhyme. "Now is the moment we all get to see what kind of good food my mom made for me." Ling Ling Lu didn't have an expression on her face, but she was really happy inside. She listened as Cat described her lunch. She had already finished eating, so she just went back to scribbling. She was happy because she felt she had found a friend without saying a word. Cat was happy too. She had become part of a lonely girl's life, and this was important to Cat because she had a desire to help. Cat trusted her feelings and instincts and just knew what to do. She knew she was making a difference. She just did it, and she did it well. The next day, Ling Ling Lu was sitting at their table scribbling. As Cat walked up, she said, "Hi there, pal. Is there any way you'd let me see what you're drawing today?" Ling Ling Lu slid the paper away and shook her head. "Come on," said Cat. "I'd love to draw too. I promise that I won't laugh at you." Again, the girl shook her head. "That's fine," Cat said. "When you're ready, I'd love to see what you like to draw." "People draw and paint and sing," Cat rhymed. "We all can do some special thing." Cat didn't push. She sensed the time wasn't right and just kept talking. She told the still silent girl about her oval orange and her lips smacking good strawberries. She explained that her dad said her natural wheat-free fig bars were much better than her other cookies. Another lunch went by, just like the others. The next week was different. Cat could feel it when she walked into the lunchroom. The place where they usually sat was taken, and for a moment, Cat's heart sank. Then she saw her silent friend standing at another table waving at her. Cat called across the room, "I see you, and I'll be right there. Thanks for saving me a chair." When Cat got to the table, she was amazed to see a drawing lying there. "Hey, that looks just like me," she said. "It is you," Ling Ling Lu said. "Do you like it?" Cat couldn't believe what she had just heard. "You're talking," Cat said with delight. "Yes, I love it. It's like I'm looking in a mirror. Wow, you are a wonderful artist." The portrait was signed at the bottom. Cat finally knew the name of her new friend. Cat stood there looking at the portrait, and then she turned around and held it up in the air. "Hey, everybody," she yelled, "look at this." At first, it seemed that Ling Ling Lu was embarrassed, but as she and Cat went from table to table showing the other kids the drawing, she stopped blushing and started smiling. From one child to another, the picture was passed. "It looks just like you," several kids said to Cat. "How did you learn to draw this good?" one child asked Ling Ling Lu. By the looks on their faces, it was plain to see that they were all amazed. Except for Cat. She was not even fazed. "I knew she was special. She had to be. I knew it all along. Now can you see? This girl has talent." Kat announced to her other friends. A crowd of children gathered by the table when the two girls finally sat back down. They all wanted to meet Ling Ling Lu. All of Kat's other friends wanted their pictures drawn too. It seemed that a real change had taken place in the lunchroom that day. There was quite a commotion. Kat stood up and said, "Be patient, my friend. Artist Ling Ling Lu would love to draw every one of you." First Jenna, then Chuck, and finally Sue sat as models for Ling Ling Lu. Sue was admiring her picture a few minutes later. "It's a good thing you went to sit with our new friend," she said to Kat. "If you hadn't, we would have never known how cool she really is." Chuck told Kat it must have been hard for her being the new kid in school. Jenna was very happy when she finished being a model and said, "Next time I see someone sitting alone, I'm going to go and make a new friend." Catherine Calloway I stepped back for a moment from the happy crowd that had gathered around Ling Ling Lu. Kat hadn't intended to teach a lesson, but all the kids seemed to have learned something. She had just done what came naturally to her. In her mind, she put it this way: "You never know how much fun you will start when you see lonely people and open your heart." Kat had a smile the size of Montana for the rest of that day. That evening, she brushed her teeth and stood looking in the mirror. She knew she had made the right choice by sitting with the lonely girl, and she couldn't wait for another chance to do the same thing all over again. With a wink and a giggle, she turned out the light and crawled into bed to sleep for the night. As she lay there feeling her soft pillow and warm covers, she whispered her favorite poem to herself. "I shine bright and was kind all day. I helped others to find their way. I can sleep and enjoy my rest, 'cause I know today I did my best." Kat looked out the big window by her bed. She could see so many stars twinkling in the night sky. One last rhyme drifted through her head as she started falling asleep. "Remember this, everyone, everywhere. We all feel much better when we show we care." Now, some people might be wondering what happened to the lonely little girl that Catherine Cat Calloway I made friends with. Ling Ling Lu continued drawing throughout her school years. She is now a very happy and successful artist. She often thinks about her life as a little girl and remembers with a gleam in her eye how kind and supportive Kat was to her when they were in school together. Kat encouraged me to keep drawing and helped me to build up the confidence in myself that I still have today. Her kindness to me when we first met has made me want to reach out to people who are alone. It's not hard to smile and say hi, and who knows, maybe my friendliness to people who are alone in blue will make a difference in their lives like the one Kat made in mine. Wherever you are, I love you, Catherine Cat Calloway I. You are a very bright, shining star. Just for fun, get out a map of the United States and look for a city in Michigan that is called Saginaw. Can you find it? That is where Ling Ling Lu now lives. For all of our readers, hi. Now that you have had a chance to see how Kat made a big difference in a little girl's life who was shy and all alone, I'd like to ask you this. Are you ready to do the same thing? Are you ready today to look around you for someone who could use your help and include them in your life? As Kat showed us, it really is quite easy to do, and everyone wins. You'll feel great knowing you've made a difference in someone's life, and they'll feel wonderful knowing someone else cares. Let's do this together, starting today, okay? I'll join you and do my part too. Thanks for reading Kat's first book, and have a great day. Isn't that an amazing story? You know, when we look at the back of the book, you'll see we have so many endorsements from other people too. Kenny and Julia Loggins, the singer, and his wife, says a feel-good story giving life, humor, and value to childhood's most important lessons: empathy, compassion, self-confidence, and connection. We need a whole series of books like this. Jenna Elfman, the actress from a big star of a television show a number of years ago, said, David Essel wrote a sweet story with a very good moral lesson in it. He is setting a great example as a leader in his community. Keep it up, David. I love Jenna. She's great. And then the late Wayne Dyer, one of my favorite mentors in the world, who many adults know still today, says, this is an inspiring, high-energy messages for our precious children. So I want you to use this story. I want you to share it all over the world. And I'm going to take a moment to tell you how this came about. A number of years ago, I was doing a keynote address at a high school. And at the high school, in the morning, there were hundreds of children in the auditorium. And I went around introducing myself to all the tables. Over in the far right corner was a table with one boy sitting all alone. He had no friends, and he was a senior in high school. I eventually made my way over before I started my presentation. His head was down as he was eating his breakfast, and I sat next to him at the table and I said, "Hi, my name is David." He didn't say anything. I said, "You know, I see you're all alone. Do you mind if I sit here while you eat breakfast before I speak?" He never returned a reply. And then I asked him this question: if you could be anything in the world, what would you be now that you're graduating from school? And his head came up and he looked at me in the eyes. His face was swollen from acne. Every part of his face was covered with blemishes. When he went to open his mouth to answer my question, there were braces that actually protruded out from his lips, and he was very shy and very embarrassed. But when I asked the question, what do you want to do when you get out of school? He lit up. All of a sudden, this big smile came with all these braces sticking out. And he said, "Mr. Essel, I'm going to be the best firefighter and emergency technician the world has ever seen. I'm going to work in an ambulance corps. I've been volunteering during school, and now I'm going in full time. I have helped so many people suffering on the way to the hospital in the ambulance, and I can't wait to become a professional, helping others every day." And that's how this book, this amazing story of one child that loved another, came to existence. If I can help you as parents and teachers, go to my website, talkdavid.com. If there's anything I can do to help you in your communication with students, lesson teaching, planning, parents, if you're struggling with children and you need help, we've helped millions of people around the world as they parent their children to become powerful, strong, productive adults. I'm here to write, to counsel. As a life coach, a counselor, and so much more, my whole life is dedicated to helping people maximize their potential. Doesn't matter if you're in kindergarten, first, second, third grade, or if you're in your 60s, 70s, or 80s. Our work is for everyone. Make sure you visit talkdavid.com, and we'll be sharing more books in the future. Have a beautiful day.